All right, we will roll right into our post-qualifying press conference here in the Media Center. Clint Bowyer, driver of the number 14 Rush HAAS CNC Ford, fourth career Busch pole. Talk about starting out front here tomorrow at the Auto Club 400.
Well, certainly, that's where you want to be. Honestly, I didn't really see that in the cards. We didn't run a qualifying lap yesterday. Made some changes in happy hour, and the car kind of woke up and liked those changes and showed some speed. But honestly, was kind of focused on downforce and doing what we needed to do in traffic. That being said, that thing rocketed, to the top there, and he told me the lap time. I was like, damn, I think that's on the pole for right now. But again, the sun was coming out, changed that qualifying day quite a bit as the sun came out, and it was right before us. I was watching the Gibbs cars go, and you could see on SMT with the data that we have now, you can visibly see everybody starting to really jerk on the wheel in the middle of 1 and 2 and get loose, and you're like, oh damn, here I go. I'm fixing to see the same thing, and sure enough, I got in there, and she just kind of slid in a slot and pointed. It never really. I didn't have to chase it up the track. I just gave it, kind of one big catch, and it pointed and shot off the corner, and I was able to keep the throttle down. And then you see this 48 car, the last car out. The story is last race at home. I'm like, this is all adding up. There's no way we're going to win. And I was better coming to the green, and then I was kind of better through 1 and 2, and all of a sudden off the 2, he had a really good run and got ahead of me getting into 3 and 4, and it was probably, honestly, ahead of me off of 4 even. And then I think I just pulled it down just a little bit more than he did down the front straightaway and just barely got him. So, I mean, that's what qualifying is all about with this product, where you're all but wide open. Comes down to your balance, how the car's trimmed out and things like that. It makes it interesting, but it makes it nerve-wracking as well because it's oh so close.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We'll open it up for media questions. Please raise your hand. Start with your name and name and affiliation. We'll start up front here with Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from The Athletic. So it's kind of interesting there because, back in the day, you would want to go out late to, maybe get better track temps or something like that. But now it sounds like it's an advantage to go out late so you can see what other people are doing on the live data. And you were talking about how you could see that. Has that changed the game a little bit? Being able to watch as you guys are qualifying.
Yeah, I absolutely. SMT and that data, that we have now to our, exposure. We can see everything you're doing. You can see if you're wide open. We all knew after practice, everybody had a good handle on their cars, and it was worked for 2 practice sessions to get, the handling down and down, dialed in. And all of a sudden, we all looked back at the SMT, and the 88 car was wide open for 5 laps. You're like, uh-oh, we're gonna have to change your thought process. We need to do some different things, and that's all on heights, your ride heights of the car and stuff like that. And when you start moving those ride heights, that's drag, that's downforce, but it's also changes your balance quite a bit. So we really have to go back in and dissect your balance in your race car, your setup with the chassis, because you've moved the aero platform with the body. So those 2 things have to work together to find grip in the racetrack, and that's when you hope that computer and that smart guy behind it doesn't run it. He didn't have a bad night, and that computer doesn't have a virus, because you need those worlds to collide with your aero platform and your chassis. But for that, I think it has to do with this old surface, really. Again, that cloud cover was huge. Those cars, you could see in your steering, it's just everybody was barely working a wheel, and as it kept getting hotter and hotter, everybody was really cranking and sawing on the wheel as we went, and that's why I was pretty nervous about it. And honestly, I didn't think that anybody would beat those cars that went early unless they were just way drastically trimmed out different.
Over here.
Justin Schuler kicking the tires. Clint, first off, congratulations, 4th pole.
Yeah.
But this race,
I still don't think that's a very good track record.
Well, this race last year was a much different story, though. You even mentioned in multiple interviews that we just got booed and it was embarrassing and all that stuff. This year, Brock here got a fantastic video of people on pit road and the stands just cheering, especially when Johnson crossed the line. You guys finished 7,000th of a second. What's the biggest difference? Do you think this is the right direction?
Absolutely. I think this is the right format, and it's stand the test of time. You know what I mean? One thing that did kind of mess with me, to be honest with you, and it may have played in my favor because the 34 car that was the fastest stayed on the track and didn't cut across the apron in 3 and 4. And that may not register to you guys, but that's all stuff that, technically we all look for. And when I came around, the 11 was shut off and on the apron. So I didn't even have that option. I don't know if that was to my advantage or not, but it was the cards I was dealt, and had it not have been a good lap, I may have been, crying foul there. But I wasn't the only one. There was several guys that, that were riding on the apron when their lap came around. That's the way the timing was. So maybe need to look into that, for all of us, make sure you have a good, clean lap. The last thing you want to do is get in the way of somebody, or maybe you do, right? So that was definitely something that kind of threw me for a loop. But honestly, I think, just the data that we have, and, Jeff being able to call that qualifying session with watching that loop data and watching that ghost car catch me and run me down and barely get by me. I mean, I'm watching the same thing, right? And I'm thinking, no, he got us right there at the end. And then he didn't quite pull it down far enough. And I thought I was done. I mean, honestly, I'd done threw my hat and kicking the ground, and I just barely squeaked by him right there at the end. But I think that's what qualifying is all about, is, being nervous about it right until the end.
Well, tell us a little bit about that. You're sharing the front row with Jimmy Johnson in his last race.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, it's cool. I guess I'll be in all the pictures because damn well they'll all be on him. So at least I'll be in the background for my sponsors, right? You always got to be looking out.
Thank you. We'll go to Reed, and then we'll go check in the press box.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire. What you were just saying about him not pulling it far enough down off of turn 4, he basically said that when he got to the corner there, it was a choice as to whether he was going to let it, let the motor run and how wide to keep it off that corner.
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys can think about and make that call, in the split second like that, or?
Well, with the cars the way they are, with the horsepower and the drag and everything else, throttle response, you got to be wide open. But then you start thinking, it can almost be too loose too, because those things will get sideways and crank out and hit all that side force and slow you down as well. So it really can't be too loose or too tight, right? You got to have a really good balance and keep that thing as straight as possible to be sleek through the air. Me getting loose down there, I mean, it just kind of slid in the slot, and I was good to go, but I still knew that scrubbed a lot of speed, I mean, you can hear it in the engine. It kind of, when it does that, because it picks up that side force as well. So, it just worked out today. I've said it time and time again. It's my worst nightmare, when you make a qualifying lap, in practice, and it does that. You kind of just slide it off in there, and it's that perfect lap where it points, and you mash the gas, and away you go, and the crew chief's like, man, hell of a lap. And you're like, oh, I don't think I can do it again, and 9 times out of 10, you can't. It was just one of those laps where it slid in well. But actually, I think it was after that, he actually came off lower than I did off the corner, off of 4, and I'm thinking, man, we're done. And then right there, he didn't pull down on the apron right at the flag stand, and that's kind of where I got him back. So, hell, I don't know. It's just.
Are you going to take the inside lane so that
It's a great question. I didn't even think I'd be in this situation when I woke up this morning. I was more worried about, being trimmed out and focused on Sunday. I don't know. Probably the outside, I would think.
Because his family's in the flag stand.
Well, how can I cover up the most in the shot that I can get the most pictures on my car? It's probably where I need to be.
We'll check in with the Terrace press box, please.
We
Where
have one
are they at?
question, Terrace Press.
There.
Actually,
Oh,
two
you
questions.
can see 'em.
Wolfgang Munzer from Germany, Rennsport Press Agency. Clint, first of all, congratulations for your pole. You said earlier that when the sun came out, the car became loose. Personally, you prefer on Sunday to run under colder temperatures? And question number 2, how identical is your setup compared to your teammates?
I'm not going to lie to you right now that I don't really care as long as we race tomorrow. We're supposed to take. I've been on the road for 11 days, and trust me, I'm feeling the heat from the wife back home. Has been home with 2 kids for 11 days while I've been out chasing this dream. So we're supposed to take the kids and meet up in Park City to go skiing next week. If my ass don't make that tomorrow because we're racing, she's not going to be very happy. But honestly, I think this track is unique in so many ways. From as wide as it is to the green grip level that it has because of the worn surface. I think it just presents well for a product, for our fans, and it really doesn't matter if it's going to be cool or hot. We're going to be slipping and sliding around, and you're going to be looking for real estate where that car in front of you is not, and trying to keep that momentum, alive, because that's what's important.
All right, we're going to come back downstairs here to Larry, please.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec, Larry.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Clint, did you get a chance to talk to your teammate, Cole? He came in 18th, so he did pretty well. Have you gotten a chance to say?
I haven't yet. I talked to him. We all debrief after practice, and we all have been doing this a long time, and I think it's important for all of us to try to help out as much as possible. The kid come from a dominant fashion, in Xfinity, and it's hard when you get in this series and you're used to leading every lap, you're leading every practice, winning every practice, leading every lap, winning a lot of races. It's hard, very hard when you get into a practice session and you look over and you're 20th and you're freaking out just on that alone. Forget the way the car is. You freak out over looking at the lap times, and you get to focus on that and chasing the stopwatch. So we all just try to make sure that he is pointed in the right direction, or asking, if he didn't think of something, maybe, or I guess it's a path, a thought process. We've been coming to this track a long time. We all kind of know as it progresses throughout a run what to expect, and that's one thing that he doesn't know in these cars, with the traffic and everything else. There's so many different things when you get to this level, of competition in the Cup Series that catches you off guard. And so we just all try to help out as much as we can with that. But I'm telling you, the kid is he's impressive. He's a wheel man. He's got a hell of an opportunity, and he'll make the most of it.
Just one other thing is, by the way, I'm Larry Stewart with Southern California News Group. Just winning the pole, what does that do to your attitude going in?
It makes today better, but honestly, it makes it more nerve-wracking for me, because the last time I did that, I was told him I was 50th on lap 5. I couldn't go back fast enough, the way we were trimmed out, in Vegas. We were conscious of that. We were focused on making sure that we had downforce in it, was going to race well. That's why, honestly, when I woke up this morning, I really wasn't even worried about today, because I didn't think we had a chance in hell to sit on the pole, and here we are, baby. So I'm happy.
Other questions for Clint? Lee.
Can you just talk about working with Johnny Klossmeyer, what that's been like? Because, 3 years with Bugga, and now this is a new opportunity. You guys both feel like you have something to prove?
I think Johnny's demeanor is just so chill, and mine's not. And it's a good counter for me, you're freaking out in a car, man, she's loose. He's like, 10-4. You're like, that's it, 10-4, But it really helps you calm down, stay focused on the task at hand. His thought process, the way he goes about his business is just super, super chill. He's got a good group underneath of him, the engineers, and everybody's just, it's a new opportunity, and I always say, a new broom always sweeps good. We got to keep together and make sure that we're doing the right things and keep our communication down pat. Seems like this year has already thrown us for a lot of adversity and have to work through a lot of circumstances, whether it was a clash, my God, all the wrecks and the cautions and pits and fixing things and trying to figure out where we're at, to the 500, a chaotic 500 for us. To last weekend, we struggled, and in my opinion, an early struggle with a new group gives you a chance to work through a lot of things that sooner or later you'll have to encounter. So far, so good. We stubbed our toe last week. We were off. There's no question. We were bummed out, but we caught a break there at the end and got a decent finish out of it and kept us alive in the points. So no harm, no foul there. Coming to this weekend, it's another learning curve. This has been a good track for me, but I can't finish here. I've always kind of run well here, really enjoy the racetrack. But I've blown up. We blew up last year, and I've done that a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, and just struggled to get the finish. So looking forward to hopefully getting the opportunity to be there at the end of this thing and beating them by an inch again would be just fine by me.
All right. Thank you very much, Clint. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.